It was just another ordinary day on the job for Marcus, a dedicated USPS driver who had been delivering mail for nearly a decade. He knew the streets of the neighborhood like the back of his hand, the familiar houses, the friendly faces, and even the little details most people overlooked. But today, something felt different. There was an uneasiness in the air that he couldn't quite place. As he pulled his truck up to a quiet suburban house, he grabbed a small package from the back. Nothing unusual, just another delivery. But as he turned the box in his hands, his eyes landed on something that made his breath catch. A note. It was hastily scribbled, taped onto the package as if someone had written it in a rush. The handwriting was uneven, almost desperate. Marcus frowned, tilting the box to read the words more clearly. "Help me." That was it. Just 2 simple words. But they sent a chill down his spine. His instincts kicked in immediately. He had seen plenty of strange things in his years as a mail carrier, odd requests, unusual deliveries, even people trying to send messages through the mail. But this was different. This felt urgent. Marcus glanced up at the house. The curtains were drawn tight, no movement inside. The front porch looked untouched, as if no one had come or gone for days. Something about it sent a warning through his gut. He looked back down at the package, turning it over in his hands. No return address. No sender information. Just a nameless box with a silent plea for help. A million questions raced through his mind. Who had written the note? Was it someone inside the house? Were they in danger? Was it a mistake, or was there someone trapped just beyond that door, waiting for help that might never come? Marcus had to make a decision. He knew his job was just to deliver the mail, to drop the package and move on. But something told him that if he did that today, he might be ignoring a cry for help that could change someone's life or even save it. Taking a deep breath, he stepped toward the house and raised his hand to knock. And then, a shadow moved behind the curtain. Someone was inside. Marcus froze, his heart pounding. The air around him felt heavy, thick with something unspoken. The door remained shut. The note on the package burned in his mind. "Help me." He had a choice to make. Walk away, or take action. And Marcus knew some choices could change everything. Marcus stood frozen on the front porch, his knuckles hovering just inches from the door. The shadow behind the curtain had moved so quickly, he wasn't sure if someone had just passed by or if they had been watching him the whole time. His grip tightened on the package, the weight of the note pressing against his palm. He had delivered mail to this house before, but now that he thought about it, something felt off. He hadn't seen anyone in weeks, no one picking up their mail, no cars coming or going. The house always looked the same. Too still. Too quiet. His heart pounded as he finally knocked. 3 firm raps against the wood. He waited, listening. Silence. He knocked again. This time, the shadow behind the curtain shifted. Someone was definitely there. He could feel it. Marcus cleared his throat. "USPS delivery. Got a package for you." His voice was steady, but inside, he felt anything but calm. The door didn't open. Seconds stretched, the quiet pressing in on him. Then, so softly he almost missed it, he heard something. A shuffle. Like someone moving away. Marcus glanced down at the package again, rereading the words taped onto it. "Help me." His gut told him something was wrong. He wasn't the type to overreact, but this wasn't normal. His job was to deliver mail, not get involved in people's personal business. But what if someone inside really needed help? His mind raced through possibilities. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe some kid had scribbled the note as a joke. But if it wasn't? He couldn't ignore the sinking feeling in his chest. Marcus stepped back from the door, hesitating. He glanced at the windows, looking for any sign of movement, but the curtains stayed shut. He didn't want to overstep, but he also couldn't shake the idea that if he left now, he might regret it later. He pulled out his phone and stared at the screen. Should he call someone? The police? But what would he even say? "Hey, I'm a mailman, and I found a note that says help me." "No, I don't know who wrote it." "No, I don't know if there's an actual emergency." "No, I can't be sure it's not just a mistake." They wouldn't take it seriously. He sighed, running a hand over his face. Maybe he was reading too much into it. Maybe he should just leave the package and go. But then, just as he was about to step off the porch, he heard something that made his blood run cold. A faint sound. Muffled. Almost like a whimper. Marcus turned sharply toward the door. His breath caught. He wasn't imagining it. Someone inside had made that noise. His stomach twisted. He took a slow step back toward the door, lowering his voice. "Hey, is someone in there?" Silence again. But he knew what he had heard. His instincts screamed at him. He couldn't just walk away. Not now. Marcus looked around, scanning the street. It was empty, just another quiet afternoon. Nobody else seemed to notice anything strange. His pulse pounded in his ears as he made a decision. He wasn't going to force his way in. He wasn't going to do anything reckless. But he also wasn't leaving without making sure someone wasn't in danger. He pulled out his phone again, but before he could dial, the door creaked open. Just a crack. A single eye peeked through the narrow opening. A woman. Marcus's heart jumped. She looked exhausted, dark circles under her eyes, her face pale. She barely met his gaze, like she was afraid to even look at him too long. Hi, Marcus said carefully, holding up the package. "This is for you." The woman hesitated, glancing at the box in his hands. Her lips parted slightly, and for a moment, he thought she was going to say something. But then she looked behind her, as if checking for something. Or someone. Marcus's grip on the package tightened. His stomach churned. "Is everything okay?" he asked gently. The woman's eyes darted back to him. Fear flickered across her face. She barely nodded. "Yes. Thank you." She reached out with a trembling hand, gripping the edge of the box. Marcus hesitated before letting go. He wanted to say something else, something that would let her know he could help, but he didn't want to scare her. He had to be careful. Her fingers brushed against his for just a second as she took the package. Her skin was cold. Too cold. He took a small step closer. "If you need." The door slammed shut. Marcus flinched. His breath hitched. The locks clicked from the inside. He stood there for a moment, staring at the closed door. His heart pounded, his mind racing. That woman was afraid. Terrified. And now, he was sure of one thing. She hadn't written that note. Someone else had. And whoever they were still inside. Marcus stood frozen on the porch, staring at the closed door. His pulse hammered in his ears. The way the woman had looked at him, her tired eyes, the nervous flicker of fear, told him everything he needed to know. She wasn't just scared. She was trapped. The package was gone from his hands, but the note remained burned in his mind. "Help me." He exhaled slowly, trying to think. He could just leave. Pretend this never happened. But his gut told him if he walked away now, he'd regret it. His gaze drifted to the window again. The curtain hadn't moved since he'd first seen the shadow. Was someone watching? Was the woman alone? Or was there someone else inside, keeping her from speaking? Marcus stepped away from the porch, his instincts telling him to look for anything out of place. He walked a few feet down the driveway, glancing toward the side of the house. The backyard fence was tall, but not too tall. Someone could be keeping her inside without anyone noticing. He pulled out his phone again, debating. Calling the police seemed like the best move, but what if he was wrong? He didn't have proof. Just a gut feeling, a hurried note, and a look of fear that could mean anything. As he was debating his next move, an elderly woman walking her dog passed by on the sidewalk. She offered a polite nod. "Everything okay?" she asked. Marcus hesitated, then nodded back. "Yeah, just making a delivery." He forced a small smile. The woman glanced at the house, her expression shifting slightly. She adjusted the leash in her hands. "Haven't seen her in a while," she murmured. Marcus's attention snapped back to her. "You know her?" The woman shrugged. "Not personally. Just used to see her outside sometimes. But lately." She trailed off, shaking her head. "House always looks the same. No lights at night. No car in the driveway. Something just seems off." Marcus's stomach twisted. So he wasn't the only one who thought something was wrong. "Do you know if she lives alone?" he asked carefully. The woman sighed. "I think so. But you never really know, do you?" She gave him a knowing look before continuing her walk, her small dog trotting beside her. Marcus turned back to the house, his thoughts racing. The woman inside had been alone at that moment, but that didn't mean she was alone all the time. Maybe she had a controlling husband or boyfriend. Someone who wouldn't let her leave. Maybe someone had forced her to write that note and deliver the package as if everything was normal. Or maybe she wasn't the one who had written it at all. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. What if someone else in that house had left that note, hoping a stranger would see it and do something? He needed more information. Instead of leaving, he took a slow walk around the block, acting like he was just heading to his next delivery. But when he circled back, he stood at a distance where he could still see the house. Minutes passed. Nothing. No movement inside. No lights flicking on. Just silence. Then, just as he was about to give up, something shifted. The front door opened, just a sliver. Marcus tensed. His breath hitched. The same woman peeked out, her eyes darting nervously across the street. Then, quickly, she slipped something outside onto the porch before retreating inside again. The door shut. Marcus hesitated only a second before walking back up the driveway. His heartbeat quickened as he saw what she had left behind. A small folded piece of paper. He picked it up with slightly shaky fingers, unfolding it carefully. Inside, written in the same frantic handwriting as before, were just 3 more words. "He's watching me." Marcus's stomach dropped. Someone was inside that house with her. Someone dangerous. And they knew she was afraid. A car rumbled in the distance, breaking the eerie silence. Marcus clenched the note in his fist, his mind racing with what to do next. One thing was clear. He couldn't walk away now. Marcus felt the weight of the note pressing into his palm as he stepped back from the porch. His breath was unsteady, his mind spinning. Someone was inside that house, watching her. Controlling her. His eyes darted to the windows again, scanning for any movement, any sign that whoever was inside had noticed what she'd done. But the curtains remained still, the house unnervingly silent. He needed to act fast. His first instinct was to call the police, but a small voice in his head whispered doubt. What if they dismissed it? What if the person inside had control over the situation, making it look like nothing was wrong? He had no proof other than these 2 desperate notes. He needed something more. Glancing around, he spotted a car parked a few houses down. It wasn't there earlier. A dark-colored sedan with tinted windows. A bad feeling crawled up his spine. He turned and walked away from the house, trying to act normal, but his senses were on high alert. As he made his way down the sidewalk, he stole another glance at the car. The engine wasn't running, but something about it felt off. It was too clean. Too still. His heart pounded. Was someone sitting inside? Watching him? He didn't want to risk looking suspicious, so he kept walking, turning the corner as if he were heading to his next delivery. Once he was out of sight, he ducked behind a row of hedges and waited. Seconds passed. Then a minute. Then he heard it. A car door opening. Marcus's muscles tensed. He carefully peeked through the leaves, his pulse hammering. A man stepped out of the car. Tall. Broad shoulders. Dressed in dark clothes. His face was mostly hidden by sunglasses, but Marcus could tell by his posture this wasn't some random neighbor. The man stood there for a moment, glancing toward the house. Then, slowly, he reached into his pocket and pulled something out. A phone. Marcus strained to listen as the man lifted it to his ear. A few seconds of silence. Then, in a low voice, he spoke. Yeah. He saw the note. Marcus's blood turned cold. He was talking about him. A chill ran down his spine. This wasn't just some controlling boyfriend. This was something worse. Something planned. Marcus knew one thing for sure now. The woman inside was in serious danger. And now, so was he. Pick up from the previous section and write revealing the story's climax. Resolve the main conflicts but include a final unexpected twist to surprise the audience. The climax should be intense and satisfying, providing a resolution to the key plot points while maintaining suspense until the very end. Keep the narrative engaging with relevant keywords. Also, do not make any headings. Only write story in paragraphs. Also, keep the wording simple and natural tone. Also, make the script human-centric and don't give feel of AI-generated. Also, don't create violated content which can affect YouTube policy. Marcus's breath caught in his throat as he pressed himself deeper into the cover of the hedges. The man stood by the car, speaking in a hushed but firm tone, his body language radiating control. "Yeah. He's still around." "No, I don't think he's left yet." A pause. "I'll handle it." Marcus's fingers tightened around the crumpled note in his hand. He was being watched, tracked. Whoever this man was, he wasn't just someone with a casual interest in the woman inside. He was involved. The air around him felt heavier. His mind raced through possibilities. This wasn't just about a domestic dispute, it felt bigger, more sinister. The controlled way the man spoke, the eerily empty house, the woman's terrified expression, it all pointed to something much worse than he'd initially thought. Then, something shifted. Out of the corner of his eye, Marcus noticed a second shadow moving inside the house. His pulse jumped. The woman wasn't alone. Someone else was in there. And they were moving toward the front door. Marcus swallowed hard. If whoever was inside realized she had slipped him the note, she'd be in even more danger. He had to act, but how? Calling 911 now would mean waiting precious minutes for help. And by then, things could take a turn for the worse. He needed a distraction. His eyes flicked to the man near the car, who had just ended his call and was scanning the area. Marcus knew he had only seconds to make a move before he was spotted. Then an idea hit him. It was risky, but it might buy him enough time. Reaching into his pocket, he quickly pulled out his phone and typed out a text to one of his co-workers at the USPS office. "Emergency. Call my phone in 10 seconds. Make it loud." His thumb hovered over the send button. One deep breath. Then, he hit send. He counted in his head. 5 seconds. 6. 7. Then, right on cue, his phone erupted in a loud, blaring ringtone. The man near the car instantly snapped his head in the direction of the noise, his entire body going rigid. Marcus didn't hesitate. While the man was distracted, he took off in the opposite direction, moving fast but controlled. He needed to get away without leading the guy straight to him. He darted behind another house, slipping through a side gate and crouching low. His heart pounded as he listened, waiting to hear if the man had followed. Footsteps. Heavy, purposeful. They were moving toward where he had been standing. Marcus gritted his teeth. He had to be smart. He couldn't just run blindly, he needed to figure out what was happening inside that house before it was too late. And then, from his hiding spot, he caught something that made his stomach drop. The front door of the house had opened. And the woman was standing there. Her face was pale, her hands gripping the edge of the door as if she were trying to keep herself from collapsing. But the way her body was positioned, the way her shoulders were stiff, it wasn't right. Then Marcus saw why. Behind her, just barely visible in the dim hallway, was another figure. A man. Tall. Expressionless. And he had a firm grip on the woman's arm. Marcus's breath hitched. This wasn't just about keeping her inside. She was being held hostage.